Good evening, guys. How is everybody out there tonight? Hopefully, you're all real good. I'm doing all right, just sitting here chilling at the house on a Saturday night, and thought I'd do a video. And although I'm smoking a cigar, this is not going to be a cigar review video. It's not going to be a tarantula update video. I'm just going to do another story video. I just thought I would sit here and talk and share with you something really weird that happened to me about 20 years ago, and see what you thought about it. It was pretty freaky experience. To give you a little backstory, to kind of set the backdrop for why I was in the place I was in. I was in my mid-20s, and I was living it back at home. I had moved out a couple of times and stayed out for a while, and then I'd get in trouble with the law and lose my job and come home. And this was one of those times I was at home because it made sense financially. I was working and everything, putting in a lot of hours, but at the time it still made sense financially for me to be living at home. And I was courting a young lady, if you will, and she lived at home with her parents. And so we spent a lot of time in a vehicle because we didn't really have anywhere else to hang out. So we would load up and just go backroading. It's one of my all-time favorite pastimes. It's what we like to do down here in Texas. You know, just get out on a back road with some friends, a case of beer, maybe a pint of Jim Beam, just ride up and down gravel roads all night. A lot of the roads that we went on, if you got tired of driving, you just stop in the middle of the road, drop the tailgate, sit there and share a story or a doobie or, whatever, maybe even light a fire in the middle of the road. That's what we used to love to do. I'd still do it if I had a vehicle and there weren't so many damn cops out there everywhere. But nowadays, you can't go nowhere without seeing a cop. So those days are long gone. Anyway, so me and this young lady were out on a gravel road. This lady was not exactly my girlfriend. I was kind of going through a separation with a woman that I had been with for 4.5 years. We had been through hell and high water together, lost a child together, and we just all of a sudden started growing distant. Actually, she started growing distant. I still kept trying to contact her, but I would get ignored or she was gone all the time, but I was still trying to reach her as much as I could. And I got a new job and was working really hard. And there was a young lady at this job that worked on a machine next to me that took notice and struck up conversation with me. The next thing you know, we started hanging out, and it became, a little more physical. Use your imagination on that. And so that's a lot of times why we would be out on gravel roads. So we're out cruising around, and we've been cruising for a couple of hours, and we decided it was about time to stop. And there was a particular pasture turn in, a gate there on this road that we were on that I parked at many, many times, sat there for hours. And so that's what we did. We went on down the road and we found this turn in, and I backed in. Always did that if we had to make a hasty retreat, which was a good thing this night too. So we backed in there. We sat there for a little while. I think we got out of the car and kind of walked around the car for a while, talking. And I don't think she was much of a drinker at the time, but I know I was drinking some cold beer. When I was younger and still slaying the ladies, I'd get out and have one of them alone. It would take me a few brewskis to get up the nerve to, initiate action, if you will. Just make a move. So we're sitting out there. I'm drinking a couple of cold beers, and we're talking. And a couple hours passes, sitting out there, and we're sitting there listening to the radio. And she decides it's about time for us to do what we came out there to do pretty soon, because she was about ready to go home. And so I said, well, I was about halfway through a beer, and I said, well, you let me finish this beer, and then I'll get back there and we'll do whatever, and it's not exactly how it went down, of course, but I'm not going to give you any gory details. Anyway, I said, I'll get back there, we'll take care of things, and I'll take you home, and, see you tomorrow. So I'm sitting there, and she's back there in the back seat, laid back because her head was hurting, naturally. And commercials came on the radio. This was back before iPads and iPods and Sirius radio, all that stuff, So I just had a regular old FM radio and a CD player and got tired of listening to my CD. So anyways, I look down at the radio dial and I go to dialing on the radio, trying to find a station. And I messed with it for probably 5 minutes. It was starting to get on her nerves, you know. I'm like, well, I got to find some mood music, you know. So I'm dialing along there, and finally I found a radio station that was playing some music. And I was like, there we go. And as soon as I took my hand off the dial, I looked up through the windshield, and directly across this gravel road from us was a barbed wire fence and miles of pasture land, just open pasture land. There was a small creek that run through there, about 40 yards from where we were. So off on the right side, there was a little bit of a tree line along the edge of this creek. But other than that, it was wide open, you know. And so we're sitting out there, and I looked up through the windshield, and up in the sky, what looked to me, you know, initial look like, you know, 40, 50 feet off the ground, you know, over the top of the barbed wire fence there, these three lights, and they were like in a triangle shape. And they weren't flashing, they weren't doing that. They were yellow, kind of like the bug lights you have, you know, on your porch or your boat dock or whatever. Three yellow lights. They weren't flashing, they weren't moving. They were just there. You know what I mean? And I saw those, and I was like, holy shit, am I seeing what I'm seeing? I thought, surely, you know, the bear's not doing that to me, because I'd never had that happen before, you know. And I know she didn't slip me nothing. So I thought either I'm really tired from working all these hours, or I'm tripping, you know. And so I rubbed my eyes, and I looked back up, and it's still there. And that's when I was like, son of a bitch. And I heard her from the back seat go, what? And I said, you see that? She said, what? I said, sit up and look. And she sits up, looks between the seats there, sees these same three lights, and goes, yeah, I see them. And right about the time she did, it was like somebody took a switch, like, you know, one of those little dimmer switches, and just dialed it down. They didn't just snap off. They just dimmed until they were gone. We had the windows down. We never heard a sound. Like I said, there was no flashing. They weren't moving. Not the slightest bit. Just sitting there in the sky. Three lights. And as soon as she saw them and said, yeah, I see them, it's like somebody hit a dimmer switch and dimmed it down until they were gone. I turned around and looked at her, and the hairs on the back of my neck stood up, and she says, let's get the hell out of here. And I said, I'm with you, baby girl. And I started that sucker up, and I put it in drive. Fortunately, I was backed into that pasture turn-in, and we hauled ass out of there, y'all. Dude, I ain't never been so freaked out in my damn life. I've seen a lot of weird shit out on gravel roads, man, but that stuff just gave me the heebie-jeebies, you know. And I was thinking that whole time I'm driving away from there down that road, first of all, thank God I backed in there, and second of all, that's some of the weirdest shit I've ever seen. And ain't nobody gonna believe me when I tell them I saw a UFO, but I had to change my story up and tell them I saw a UFO, but it wasn't an identified flying object. It was an unidentified floating object, and that's no bullshit, y'all. That was some real shit that happened to me down here in Texas. That's about all the story I got. I'm sitting here and smoke some more of this cigar and drink another beer, and I'll think of another story. I'll tell you, you know, because I'm already halfway through my life, so I lived some crazy stuff back in the day. It's just, problem is at my age, I can't remember a lot of it, but when I do remember stuff, I do like to tell stories to people. Unfortunately, there's nobody here to tell them to, so that's why I'm telling it to y'all. It's also easier to come up with or remember certain things when you're around someone else, you know, who's telling you about something that happened to them, and it reminds you of the story, and you're sitting there like a little kid on the edge of your seat waiting for them to finish your story so you can go, that reminds me of the story that I told, or it happened to me one time, you know. So anyway, that's my story. If you like the stories, let me know. If you don't, tell me to shut the hell up, and I'll get back to reviewing these and showing you an interesting video of my tarantulas. That's all I got. I might come back with another story later, but again, thank y'all for watching. God bless, and good night.